One of the most important things to remember with any marketing that you're doing in your business is that the purpose is to connect and convert some person. I have seen so many websites that are basically like an essay script, and it is so much work you're asking your prospect to do to understand who you are. Don't put more work on people that are trying to figure out if you're going to be a good fit to work with. Welcome to Websites That Convert, the podcast where your website stops being a liability and transforms into your greatest asset. I'm your host, Shannon, and I'm going to guide you through the strategies and insights you need to build a website that not only attracts, but converts. Let's dive in. Content and copy on a website is often a very overlooked factor in creating a good strategy and getting people to convert on the website. So in today's episode, I've got to talk about the 5 things that you can do to improve your website copy. And this is coming from someone who has created over 100 websites over the last 5 years. And I actually do the majority of the copywriting in the business currently. It's something that I enjoy, but we do also have copywriters on hand for higher level projects. But this is a very, very important part of creating a website because yes, there's the visual aspects. Yes, there's the conversion systems. Yes, there's getting traffic. But the words on the website are going to be one of the most important things in engaging and converting people and giving them a good understanding about who it is that you are, who you help, what you offer, why they should trust you, and how they can get it. So we want all of those things and all of those questions to be answered when someone lands on your website. We want it to be as fast and effective as possible too. So in today's episode, I'm going to give you the 5 things that you can do to improve your website copy so that you can convert more people. The first thing is to know your customer. One of the most important things to remember with any marketing that you're doing in your business is that the purpose is to connect and convert some person. It is a real person out there, and I think it's so easy to forget that everything that we're doing, all the content we're putting out, any advertising, our website, our branding, our customer experience, all of those things are being created for real people that are having a real human experience and interacting with you, your brand, and your team. So everything that you do, every offer that you create, and every single plan, strategy, process, or anything that you're doing in your business, you need to think about the customer. Who is it that you're delivering this to? Who are you trying to connect to? So when you're writing the website copy, obviously there's going to be a human going to the website and a human is going to be reading it. And that human we want to connect with, and we want to make it as clear as possible for them to understand, again, who you are, what you do, what you offer, why they should trust you, and how they should get it. So if you really want to improve your website copy, dive into understanding who it is that you're trying to market to. Even look at the type of terminology that they're using. Like if you work in a specific industry or you're targeting people of a certain demographic or people that are interested in certain specific things, there may be specific terminology that they use where having that way of saying things, like let's say, for example, you're marketing to people who are like in Gen Z population, right? They have a different way of speaking, like they've got their own slang, for example. But this terminology can make a huge difference in helping you stand out and connect with your customer. But this, again, just comes back to knowing who they are and what their problems, pain points, challenges, goals, and desires are. And as soon as you know that, you can craft all of your marketing and all of your offers and sales, promotions, website copy, everything that you do around this person. The second thing you can do to improve your website copy and content so that it converts more people is to focus on your headlines. Now, most people are going to skim read your website, and I know it's disappointing because you put so much time and effort into the body text as well, but the truth is that majority of people are not going to read that. Yes, we want it to be accurate, we want it to be appealing as well for those people that do, but majority of people are just going to skim. So think about your headlines as being some of the most important bits of text on the entire website, because majority of people are going to be reading those. Particularly your headlines in the hero sections of each page, especially the home page, because basically 100% of people that come to your website are at least going to land on that and read that headline, and that headline should pique their interest to take an action or at least scroll further down the page so that they can. But focusing on your headlines means that you're going to be capturing the attention of more people that are just skim reading, which is around 80% of your total traffic that's coming through. So it's okay that people skim read as long as you plan for it. Basically, don't use headlines like who we are, who we help, what we offer, and things like that. Actually, create headlines that appeal to those people who want to know who you are. Like maybe there's a tagline that you have in your business that really encompasses what you do. Maybe that gets used in the who we are section or about us section rather than just saying about or who we are. The third thing that you can do to increase the conversions coming from your website copy is to not overdo it. I have seen so many websites that are basically like an essay script, and it is so much work you're asking your prospect to do to understand who you are. And the majority of the time, this content and this text is all about you. Going back to our first point being to know your customer, your website copy is designed to talk to them. It's not about you. It shouldn't be all about you. And no one wants to read all about you. They want to know how you can help them solve a problem that they have. They're interested in how it's going to serve them. That is human nature. So don't overdo the amount of talking about yourself that you're doing, but don't overdo the actual amount of text either. Your website shouldn't create more work for your prospect to do. It should answer the questions that they have around who you are, what you do, what you offer, why they should trust you, and how they should get it. And in fact, the rule in website copy is less is more, right? So the more you can say with less words, the better. And if you do have a lot of copy on your website that you want to reduce, I recommend just putting it into ChatGPT and getting it to reduce it down to the minimum amount of words possible to still convey the message that you're trying to tell. We don't want to use too much AI in our copywriting because it starts to get a little bit cold and non-human-like. So don't overdo the AI copywriting, but when reducing the amount of words in a section, it can absolutely do that. Just use a prompt to reduce the amount of words without getting rid of the actual message and what you're trying to communicate in that section. So the third point is don't overdo it. Don't talk about yourself too much, but don't overdo the actual amount of text that you have on the page too. It's really not good for anyone, and none of your visitors actually want to read it. I'm sorry to say, but don't put more work on people that are trying to figure out if you're going to be a good fit to work with. Now, the fourth thing that you can do to improve your website copy and get more conversions on your website is to use keywords. This isn't just for Google, this is for humans too. So like I said before, there are actual humans, which is so easy to forget. There's actual humans reading your website copy and then looking for a specific thing. Now, keywords, yes, they're going to be beneficial for Google, and we want to have the keywords on there so that Google can read it, Google can index it, and Google can rank you in the search engines. So you're getting clicks through, you're getting traffic from people who are actively searching for what you offer. If you want to have that on the website because it's going to help with your Google rankings, but once the visitor is on the website, then having that keyword on there as well, again, just reinforces they're in the right place and what they're looking for is what you offer. Now, it's really tempting to want to stuff keywords onto a page, like let's say for that example, polished concreting Gold Coast. Putting that keyword on the page everywhere and all over the website is not going to be effective. Google's algorithm is so smart now. We need to write copy and content for humans. If you try and write copy and content for search engines, or copy and content for AI, or like whatever you're writing it for, and it's not for your customer, it's not for an actual human, these algorithms will pick it up and you'll be penalized for it. You're not going to get results from trying to scam the system anymore. That's something that was effective in the past, going back, 10-ish years. You could just put a ton of keywords on a website page and it would rank. Like, that was how simple the algorithm was. But now there's a lot of nuances to Google and the way that they rank and the way their algorithm and their systems work. So above all, always write for humans first, but make sure that those keywords are in the right places so that you have the opportunity to come up in the search engines, and again, so that it reinforces to your visitor that they're in the right place. Now, the fifth thing that you can do to write website copy that'll convert is to write it at a grade 5 level. Now, what do I mean? I mean, taking the copy and content that you're creating, putting it into a software like Hemingway, for example, or editing it down until it's a grade 5 reading level. This isn't about insulting your prospect's intelligence. This is about making it easier for people to understand what you do. Now, even if your target market is highly intelligent and can read at a very high level, the fact is, if you write it at that level, it's going to still take them work to read it. So if you are targeting someone that is very highly intelligent, sophisticated, and can read at a very high level, if you write at that level, it's still going to require them to think more and use more mental energy to understand what you do. And they'll be able to understand it eventually, but anyone that isn't at that level isn't. You're missing out on all of those people that could potentially, understand and be a potential client and customer of yours. But then even those people that are at the higher levels of reading abilities, they're not going to want to do the work to decipher what you do. So if you bring it down to a grade 5 level, that allows everyone to be able to read it. It allows everyone to be able to understand it, and it removes any excessive work that any prospect has to make or do to understand what you do. So that means you're able to communicate your message to a wider market. And I know it's tempting to want to write to make yourself sound good, but the fact is that the more simple that you write it, the easier it's going to be to communicate what you do and get people to convert. So they're the 5 things that you can do to improve your website copy so that it converts at a higher rate. It is to know your customer, deeply understand who they are, their problems, pain points, goals, challenges, desires, all of their problems, and how you're going to solve them, and even look at how they speak and the terminology that they use. Focus on your headlines, prioritize your headlines over the rest of your website copy because most people are going to skim read it. Don't overdo it. You don't need a ton of text on a website, especially not body text, and you don't need to speak a lot about yourself. The less words that you can use, the better, while still conveying your message and getting people to understand who you are and what you do as well. Make sure that you add keywords. These are for Google and for humans too. Don't forget about the humans, but using keywords will help you get ranked in the search engines, getting more traffic, and then having them on the actual website for the humans reinforces that they're in the right place. And lastly, aim to write at a grade 5 reading level. This will allow you to capture more market and allow people to better understand or more easily understand, again, who you are, what you do, what you offer, why they should trust you, and how they can get it. So we want to take them through that journey. We want to make it easy. Don't ask them to do more work than they need to understand and answer those questions. So that's all for today's episode. I hope it was helpful in giving you those 5 tips to write website copy that converts. Thank you for listening to Websites That Convert. If you found value in this episode, please give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Follow us on all social media. And if you're a service-based business owner that's looking to double their website conversions, book a call with my team using the link below. I'll see you in the next episode.